Hey everybody, this is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and welcome to Friday Fun Live Day, where I am broadcasting from the state of Maryland, where it is a very wonderful 68 degrees outside after coming through, uh, the long heat wave that we've had. It is summer after all, and we are just now starting August. So this is to be expected, but oh my goodness, 68 degrees right now after those storms moved through last night feels amazing. Well, let me go ahead and jump right on into the chat with you all. Kelly, thank you for being there, so patiently waiting. Looks like she's very busy crocheting a diaper cover for a newborn. How sweet is that? Um, and she said, if I crocheted newborn baby clothes, do you think it would sell? Honestly, I am not sure. I am really not sure. I think sometimes you have to test the water or maybe go on sites like Etsy and just see, what people are interested in. Um, yeah. So I again not really sure. But anyway, if you do make things like that, make sure that they're made out of washable, easily washable and dryable materials. Um, I'll go ahead and turn this a little bit this direction. There we go. Um, all right, that looks good. And we have Sandra Harper. Good morning, Sandra, all the way from Southern California. Right, right, Hannah. Hannah also has a comment about the diaper cover, which I think is a great idea. Says all I could think of is how much you'd have to clean it, how well would it hold up with constant washing. Yeah, that's a huge factor right there. Big, huge factor. Um, yeah, I have honestly, I have to tell you too, confessional here. I haven't made other than baby blankets. I know some people out there thought, oh, Bonnie's going to be making all these things for the babies. I really haven't. They have plenty already, and I have to be mindful that my children have limited space. So I don't want to, fill their house with stuff that they don't have room for. But I have made handmade baby blankets, and I actually had some saved from my very first book publication. I've had them set aside for special purposes just like this, and the baby got one of those. So really happy to provide that. Okay, thank you, Trish. Hannah sent me your up prayer update. Says thank you for prayers for my neighbor's great grandson. The newborn was discharged home. Wow, has special needs, but is doing well and is cute as a button. That is outstanding, Trish. Wow. Um, Thank you for letting me know that. I even talked to my daughter Becky about this yesterday, who has a newborn, and told her the situation. So we had a lot of people. The prayer chain was very scattered in a good way. So thank you for updating that. I will continue to pray for this little guy, um, and pray for the parents as well. Just I know not getting much sleep, and having been with somebody with has a little one on hand, I'm just reminded of all that goes into to taking a baby home and taking care of them. It's not for the faint of heart. And it's probably one of the hardest jobs in the world. And it's interesting that God gives it to women. I mean, for the most part. Not saying that men are not involved, because they are, but it's just, I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the world. And God lovingly gives it to women who are very strong. I mean, in that sense. So I mean that in a good way. All right. Good morning, Marie. Thanks for joining us. And she says, have a blessed week. Thank you. You too, Marie. I hope things cool down there in South Carolina a little bit for you. And thanks, Kelly, for the reminder about hitting the button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. That way, all these different things I talk about, you'll be able to just go right to that. You'll get the notifications. If you hit that notification bell, you all know the drill. Um, so, and Linda, Brat's mom, is here in the chat. Says, good morning, Bonnie, Hannah, Becky, and all my dear Yarnies from sunny Southwest Chicago suburbs, friends. Please don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. I'm just finishing up my errand. See you soon. Well, thank you for that reminder. And I have this is nothing new, but I made a new discovery this week. My husband and I have really enjoyed watching a couple of documentaries on Prime. So if those of you who, are on Prime and like watching those shows on demand, there are a couple of really good documentaries on the band called Chicago or Chicago Transit Authority, if you may have remembered it from the old days. I remember hearing that music as a kid. Absolutely love it. Got it on my phone now. And the one documentary is called "The Last Band on Stage," and it was a story about the pandemic. But I think you'll find it really fascinating. These are a really good group of guys. And then we watched another one about Terry Kath, who used to be their lead guitarist, who tragically died at a very young age of 31. That was also very interesting, and just how much that tragedy changed the lives of the people, but, and I think in a good way. But anyway, those are really good, and they have a Christmas album. It's called Chicago Christmas. It's really, really good. Um, if you're a purist where you don't like any changes whatsoever in your Christmas music, you can skip this one. But if you like jazz but some of the numbers are done really well. I think, Hannah, I think even you would like some of these songs. They changed them up a little bit in some ways, but I just, as a band kid, I just absolutely love hearing the horns in these songs, and they're done such beautiful, warm chords and tones and stuff. I think you all might really like that. I know a lot of you are from grew up during the, late 60s, early 70s like me. I think you'd really like that. Yeah, yeah. Um, And Hannah sent me a message. Do you have a sweater tutorial for size XL? I think most of my sweater tutorials, yes, I do. Um, most of them include, XL. I try to go up to 3X on most of them. Some of them in the earlier books mine may not do that, but I know one book does. And she wants to know someone wants to know what kind of yarn did you use for your crocheted top? Okay, the crocheted top, I forget the exact name of it, but this crochet top is on my channel now, and I'll just show you. It's very loose fitting, very comfortable, and with the cooler temps out, it's perfect. Phew, I tell you what, I was out a couple times this week, not to bellyache too much, but I just don't remember sweating that much in a long, long time. Um, it was so hot this week. My sister and I even went walking around at an outdoor um, outlet center near us. I wanted to just kind of look, see if they had anything on sales because I'm going to a conference in Pittsburgh. And I didn't really see much, but I just started feeling worse and worse and worse. And just finally drove home. And that's when I took that little picture I posted on Facebook where it was 100 degrees, or at least my car was registering 100 degrees. So when I would come to stoplights, I would purposely not pull up to the back bumper, but stay in the shade of the trees that were near me. And I noticed that the temperature would go down to like 98, to like a couple degrees, just being in the shade. But anyway, whew, if you want to find the yarn for this, it's only available locally at a store near me called Knits and Pearls. That said, you can use any DK weight yarn that you feel, would make a nice summer top. But you can look at the video that says Broomstick Summer Top on my channel, and it'll have the information for the yarn in the video description. And there's even a phone number where you can call the store and get some of this yarn. And the yarn is actually a blend of, it's a DK weight, it's a blend of merino wool and hemp, which is very interesting. Um, may feel a tiny, tiny bit coarse because of the hemp at first, but it softens up quickly. It doesn't feel rough or at all on me. It feels very nice. But the nice thing about the combination of those two yarns is it provides a uh, breathable fabric. Okay. And I think, it's resourced from, very friendly terms and all of that, whatever the current lingo is, with the sourcing, it's all good. That's all I know. It's very thoughtfully done. So anyway, okay, thank you, Hannah. Yes, I will in just a second. Let's keep on going here. Kelly says, I am eating steak fingers. I've never had those actually. And good morning to you, Angie and Miss Wanda. I'm so glad you could join us. Um, Let me get back. Where did that go? I just am not that far behind already. Yes, I am. Welcome to the Bonnie Barker Unforgettably Slow Chat. And Miss Wanda says, good morning, Miss Bonnie and everyone. Only 81 degrees today. God is good. Yes, in the Carolinas, if you're only in the 80s, that is very, very good. Um, and somebody wants to know how long did it take for me to crochet my top? Um, that's really hard to say because I design and record while I'm crocheting. Um, but I bet you could probably do this depending on how much time you spend. You could do it within a week, I'm thinking, if you understand the broomstick. And the base of the rest of the top is just wattle stitch, and that goes very quickly using a size H crochet hook. In my case, for gauge, of course, always check to make sure your gauge is similar, and if not, change the hook. Um, but yeah, I would give yourself maybe a week, but or less, depending on how devoted you are to spending time crocheting. All right. Yes, Kelly, he is an awesome God. I so agree with you. Um, yeah, I'm not sure I understand that story, Kelly. Hmm. And you can hear all kinds of crazy things. You have to be really careful, I guess, what we hear and what we understand to be true. I think of the Apostle Paul calling us all to be Bereans, which means go back and check to make sure what you are reading, um, just to make sure it's true, because there's a lot that's just not out there. Phil, hello. He says, hello from Western North Dakota, headed to Ontario, California. Whoa, beautiful 75 degrees today, Fahrenheit, of course. And waving right back at you. Wow, North Dakota heading to Ontario. Whew, you get around, friend. um, and Sandra says, hey, Phil, you're coming out my way. Stay safe out there. Yes, indeed. And thank you all for caring for Phil. Yes, definitely safe travels. Um, it reminds me, in our neck of the woods, not far from where my daughter's my daughter-in-law's family lives here in Maryland. A tractor trailer had a problem, and somehow an entire load of hot dogs got dumped onto the exit, just near the Pennsylvania, Baltimore area, somewhere up in there. I don't know exactly the road, but got this interesting picture. It's like one of those roll moments, if you can imagine a highway full of hot dogs, like a truckload full. Hmm, a bad day for somebody. Um, thank you guys for taking care of Phil. And thank you for all that you do, all you truck drivers out there, especially those who crochet and follow this channel. We love you very much and so thankful for you. The pandemic, unfortunately, it took a worldwide pandemic to teach a lot of us how grateful we need to be for those people who do what you do. But thank you for taking care of us all. Um, and my friend Barbara from Alaska. Hello, kiddo. Hello to you too, Barbara. So glad to see you in the chat. Barbara's got an amazing place there where she grows all kinds of things. amazing, canning and also things of beauty, just beautiful peonies by the thousands. Um, that is so cool. Please give your little doggy a scratch on the head for me too. I would love to meet that little guy. And and Trish says, "Hi, Bonnie and folks. Pouring rain in southern West Virginia, Virginia. Oh boy, I wonder if that's coming my way. I'll have to check. I'll have to check the radar just to see. All I know is I'm looking outside. I haven't seen the sun yet today, which I guess is keeping us in the 60s for now. A little bit warmer in town, but I'm kind of a little bit out from the and surrounded by lots of shade trees, so it's a lot cooler here. But I'll keep an eye out for that rain. Thanks for the heads up, Trish. And we have Jet One in. So good to have you in the chat. Hope you are doing well. Still thinking about you and your business, and hope things are, turning around for you in a good way. And Diane, hi to you. And Stephanie says, good morning. Um, and again, Trish, great to hear that news about that little baby. And and thank you for praying for my little granddaughter and my extended family. This little gal gained over a pound in 1 week, so she's doing well, making up for lost time, making up for her early arrival. So we're real happy about that. Red Hook says, hello, Bonnie, Hannah, and everyone. No overtime today, so I can make the live. Yay! Looking forward to seeing. I think you said you're coming to Pittsburgh. I could be mistaken, but if so, I'm really looking forward to catching up. And I think I saw that Proverbs 31 woman might be coming there to Pittsburgh. Let's go ahead and talk about that a minute. Got a new announcement, okay? We have added a class. It's kind of a replacement class, but we've added a class to the Pittsburgh lineup. I'm going to be teaching about Broomstick, and I am so excited. This is going to be a really fun class. We're going to be covering how to do broomstick crochet, both in rows as well as in the round. Like this top is crocheted just totally in the round. It's a no-sew top. And also, August 11th, I'm going to be releasing the pattern to this broomstick shawl, which works up really fast. And that's using some yarn by the Yarnsmith, and a little foam come up there. And they're going to be at the Pittsburgh Creative Arts Festival or Pittsburgh Knit and Crochet Show, whatever you want to call it. Um, you can look it up under both, and they both pop up and get you to the right place. It's the main one in Pittsburgh, and on August 22nd through the 24th. And there are still seats available. So if you're looking for classes, I would love to meet you. Please take one of my classes if you can. If you don't want to take my class, no problem. Check out some of the others. There are going to be classes on knitting, spinning, quilting. So I know a lot of you ladies double dip into a lot of other different crafts. There are going to be other classes on that there, and I think you're going to want to check it out. The classes are always, I think, really fun. But if you don't have the money for the classes, I've been in that position in the past. I understand that. This was back in 2011 when I went to my first conference ever in Greensboro, North Carolina. And but there are so many other activities you can participate in. There's a yarn market where you can spend the whole day really talking with people and learning about their yarn and shopping and shopping and shopping. But there are also going to be a room off to the side. We're going to be having a special presentation on Saturday. It's free, it's open, and you just do have to get a ticket just so that we don't run out of seats. So if you want to guarantee to get your seat, you can go online and get your ticket. I don't believe you don't have to purchase, classes to do that. But anyway, it's going to be a really fun program. There're going to be a lot of giveaways. We're going to do silly parody songs. We're going to play some games that I know you're going to be familiar with. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to even have just a mini fashion show that you can participate with. You can, walk and okay, walk the runway, so to speak, although it's a very small runway. But we're going to be having just a lot of different ways to participate. There are going to be during the day, there are going to be other organizations where you can sit down and crochet with them if you'd like. Lots of things to do. They also have a swimming pool there if you want to jump in the pool. So check that out. Some of the other classes I'll be teaching will be transforming denim with crochet, Celtic weave and beyond, which is starting to fill up. So if you're looking for that Celtic weave and beyond, you need to kind of get a seat soon. And multiple ways to crochet ribbing. So that's coming to Pittsburgh. Is that mainly what I wanted to do? Do I have any patterns in Hobby Lobby? Um, Someone sent that in. Actually, I do, but that's not me doing it. It's Leisure Arts doing it. There is a super scarves pattern that I have found regularly at Hobby Lobby stores, but that's an arrangement that Leisure Arts has made. This is one of the few times I see my patterns out there anymore. They used to have them, at AC Moore, and used to have them at Joann's, and used to have them at Michael's. But they've all shrunk down what they offer on the sales floor. So the Hobby Lobby is I guess, the last pattern standing that I have as far as the public eye goes. Red Hook says she donated 14 inches of her hair. Wow, that's great. 2 wigs for kids. So I'm not sure you will recognize me in Pittsburgh. It made a big difference. Well, wear your name tags, folks. That's a good point. But it really does help if you come to the Pittsburgh show, wear your name tags. It's going to help everybody. It helps me just to know who people are because I don't always have a visual. Um, and Carol Georgeson is wondering if you will be offering a broomstick Zoom class lesson in the future. I have done that on my watch channel, Carol, but I need to find a way, to sell individual classes. I just haven't found it yet, or settled on anything. But I do have a recording of that class in my on my watch channel. So if you're a watch member, you can watch that class. It's a 2-hour version of what's going to be a 3-hour class. But we had a few people, in that one. So it's easier to do it in 2 hours when you don't have to respond to a room full of people. But you can check that one out. But I will keep in mind to maybe add that to a future class, to maybe do that one again with my watch people, if that's something that they're looking forward to. And Stephanie wants to know, was wondering if I use paint box yarn and how do I like it? You mean this? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I think for acrylic and for the price and everything, I think it's an excellent yarn. I find very few, if any, knots in the yarn as compared to some of the big box store yarn that I had used for decades, and was noticing that I was getting a lot of knots in them, and especially with color changing yarn, which is extremely inconvenient and aggravating. But very low knot, as in KNOT, knot count with this. I do like this. I will say that some colors feel different than others. I just like in Red Heart or Caron or any of the other yarns out there. I don't have probably has something to do with the dyeing process of various colors. But yeah, I definitely use the paint box Simply Aran. I I enjoy this. I've used it on many designs, and so far it's holding up very well. I'm actually experimenting on a new design. I'm doing a collaboration. I can't wait to show you this, but I'm gonna have to wait. Doing a collaboration that's coming out this fall with Jennifer Ryan of Celtic Knot Crochet, and we're actually using the DK weight acrylic version. And I'll so far so good. So far so good. I like it. And I've ordered some other yarn that's supposed to be coming today, which is an acrylic wool blend that's actually a gift for one of my daughter-in-laws. So she can enter a project in the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. By the way, if you all want to enter into the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, as long as you have a way to pick up your items at the end, um, anybody around the world can enter that. And I highly recommend that you do because they really do need good uh, crochet examples. But the one stipulation about it, since it is a wool, sheep, and wool festival, is at least 50% has to be wool. And they, Lovecrafts does have, it's not this one, but they do have a yarn that's 50/50 that I've ordered, and I'm gonna just open it up and just see how it may be different or not. And my daughter-in-law will give me the lowdown once she completes a project and see what she thinks. Um, and if you need to look at their yarn, you can look at my video description. I do have a link. It's an affiliate link. I'm not ashamed of that. Um, it doesn't cost you any more. It just gives me a little bit of credit by pointing you to them. They still have a sale going on. I checked this morning. If you wanted to buy this yarn, it's 35% off when you buy one ball. If you buy it in packs of 5 or 10, it's 40% off. And I think they've even lowered the ceiling as far as how much you need to get for free shipping. Or at least they lowered it a couple days ago. But usually it's around $65 and then you get free shipping. But and a lot of times when you order those big packs, they ship them directly Royal Mail from the UK, but it comes to you within the week. It's I don't know how they can do that, but that's what they do. So if that's something interesting to you, check it out because once the fall hits, the prices are going back up to normal. Um, a lot of yarn companies, if you're looking for yarn, summer is a really good time to buy it because their sales are down. So they lower their prices. Of course, when people get back in the saddle for school, um, the, their business goes back up and they don't have the same need. Let me show you some other yarn that I bought for an upcoming um, secret project. I've gotten some city tweed. Look at this yarn. Isn't that beautiful? This is by Knit. I'll go ahead and show you the label. Knit Picks. This is a DK weight. Each of these has 123 yards or 50 grams. Okay, this is a DK weight yarn. And what is in it? Let me tell you. It's 55% merino, 25% superfine alpaca, and 20% Donegal tweed. In other words, really nice, soft yarn. Um, Here's some other colors. They have a whole beautiful color palette of this. And this is the DK weight. This is nice yarn. Really enjoyed. I've made things. I think I made my first crochet sweater project was made using a red version of this with the tweed, but really pretty yarn. You can check that out. I don't have an affiliate link for this, but it's knitpicks.com. I'll go ahead and put it down here. Okay, knitpicks.com. And this is called City Tweed. If you wanted to look at that, they have a ton of um, other fibers and yarns and whatnot. Okie dokie. So I got that. Oop, I want to show you some other yarn. I had this sitting on the ground for 2 weeks and forgot to show it to you. My daughter-in-law Molly was out shopping, and I guess I don't know if these are being discontinued or what. This is Michael's brand. Loops and threads, super soft yarn. This is a number 4 weight and tons of. You can see how big this is. What is the trying to find the yardage for you? This may be a discontinued. Okay, here it is. It's right in front with the big letters. 537 yards, or 491 meter. 100% polyester, but super super soft. That can make a mighty fine baby blanket. And I have 3 of these, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with these yet. But just to let you know, they were like $5 for this. So it's one of those things, especially if you make blankets for, was it the Linus project, or, always looking for yarn that's nice, but maybe on sale. Discontinued yarn is fantastic because they'll reduce the price. It's just hard for me to design with it because you can't go out and duplicate it. Which kind of happens to a lot of yarn anyway, but I always like to have it available for folks. And no, Kelly, I'm not going to be doing a drawing today. Sorry about that, sweetheart. I'm saving a lot of my drawings and things. I'm going to be contributing a lot to the Pittsburgh Festival, just kind of out of pocket. So I'm going to reserve that for there, just for now. And Phil says, Bonnie, have you ever heard of the Norman arch stitch? It looks like McDonald's arches. Just wondering if you had or would be willing to do a tutorial stitch on that stitch. I well, not really. I mean, I know I haven't heard of that one specifically, but I also know there's like nothing new under the sun. Sometimes when it comes to that, I have a couple of old crochet stitch dictionaries that I love to peruse here and there. If I'm looking for something new and just different, more than just the same old, same old. I know that there are, I have a couple books that have various arches in that, but it's not called the Norman arch. So let me go ahead and write that one down. I'm gonna try to look that up afterwards. Norman arch stitch. All right, so I will look that up this week. Thanks for the heads up on that, Phil, and I'll see what I can find. All right. Jet One In says, been looking at trying to fly out to Pittsburgh, but darn it, it's too far away this year. So I wanted to learn that tech watch. Well, I tell you what, Jet One In, I will do a video on that at some point. Okay, I will do a video on that. And just to let you know, we didn't have anybody sign up. Just to be totally honest with you all, we didn't have anybody sign up for that class. So we've actually replaced it with the Broomstick. I think the Broomstick is going to be more attainable for people. The watch band, I was starting to get nervous about it because it requires, well, the fact that nobody signed up was kind of like confirmation that maybe this will be for a better time, maybe next year or another time and place. I will try to be sure to do a video on that because of this. It requires a lot more jewelry making skills than crochet skills. This crochet skills are nominal. I mean, not much. But the jewelry making skills and the tools that you need. I mean, I had already purchased, sets of tools for everybody to have and everything. But I just don't think it's gonna, I just know that if 2 or 3 people just become really stuck, then it could turn into a disaster. So I will definitely I'm going to commit to this. I'll commit that to you right now. I will definitely do a video on this. I can't say when, but I'm going to try to put a video together for the future on that one. Okay. And so I'm not sure where you're, contact me, Jet One In, BonnieBay@me.com. I'm trying to figure out where you're trying to get from and to. I might be able to help with that. So just email me and let me know the situation and see what we can do. I'm gonna have a car full because I'm gonna be bringing my daughter-in-law and my grandson with me, plus all my gear. um, our smallest gear is gonna be our clothes bags. Everything else is gonna be pretty full. But I'll see what we can do, see what we can work out. Um, and yes, Kelly, I do have some knit patterns available. You'd have to look at my YouTube channel. You can just look up knit, just put knitting or knit, and a list should come. I also have a playlist set apart of those, and the ones that do have written patterns, that information will be in the video description. All right. Let's keep a going. Um, and Nancy from joining us from, oh, thank you. Says, love your channel, Franklin, Tennessee. Oh, wow. I like going through Tennessee. I get to drive through your beautiful, um, the southeastern part, at least when I go down to Georgia. I always like to take 81 up and over when I can. It just makes for a beautiful drive and cuts out some of that Washingtonian traffic. Um, and Swati says, happy Friday, everyone. I'm not really here since I'm taking my mom in for a medical procedure today. Just wanted to say hi and ask for your prayers in her recovery. Hope y'all are well. We'll certainly continue to pray for her and for you too, Swati. And DL Chris says, good morning from sunny Southern Oregon. I'm finishing the border on the Navigator Lapcan. Yay! Hope you enjoyed that one. That was a lot of fun to collab with somebody. Um, and yeah, thank you, Hannah, for being there, all that you're doing. And Trish talking about the baby again that we prayed for last week. He's going to have a long road, and parents too. Thank you so much. They are pretty young. You know, you just never know. That I just think it's great that I could tell you a story. I would be crying by the time I finished, but it's all good. You know, a friend of mine whose baby wasn't even supposed to, wasn't supposed to survive birth, and then wasn't supposed to survive the day, and then wasn't supposed to survive the week. Well, the child is doing well. Yes, there are going to be issues, and yes, there are going to be doctor bills, but just the little guy, another little guy, just his name is Caleb, and he's a living miracle. I can't give you any more details than that, but you just never know. You just never know how God is going to use that life in such a great way. Uh, that's the hope, at least. Um, and thank you, Kelly. Says, I love that top that is on the mannequin. Yeah, this is actually a shawl, but yeah, that's a shawl, and that's. Let me just take it off for you guys, because I can't get enough of this yarn. I don't know if you can see that better. It's kind of hard when you put both sides together because it's hard to see the actual stitching. But it does have a beaded trim, which is optional. And this is the fun that I love having at the bottom, is with the bead. It's not like overly in your face with the beads, but just a teeny weeny bit. And I don't know if it's probably not picking up now, but it really does just enough to catch a little bit of light here and there. And this is a one size fits most. I tried it on. I like it. My daughter-in-law, who's like a size 4, it looks good on her. And I have another beautiful daughter-in-law who's a size 3X, and it fits her great. The only thing that I would probably do for the larger sizes, if you wanted to, you can just continue in pattern stitch, just continue repeating the last few rows again and again if you want to elongate it, but you really don't have to. So I'll go ahead and put this back on. There we go. All right. Put it back on my mannequin there. So thank you, Kelly, for calling attention to that. And And Stephanie says, I've been having a time, and today, since I woke up, I've been feeling good. Just remember you were blessed with another day of life. Amen, Stephanie. Thank you so much for that. Absolutely. Um, it's been, and if I could be honest with y'all, it's been a little bit challenging of a week for me. I can't say why. I can't put my finger on it, but just physically, just not feeling there. I think the heat may have had a lot to do with it, but not a spring chicken anymore. But you're right. Today, doing better, doing better. Just you know, not dealing with a headache, in the same way. So I mean that's helpful. But yeah, just giving thanks for every day, just not knowing, we just don't know. We know our days are numbered and we don't know when the days are over, and what that is a blessing in and of itself. Otherwise, we'd be so worried. But yeah. And okay, so I have a question from Carol that Hannah just sent me. Do you think advanced beginners can figure out the broomstick? I am so glad you asked that question, Carol. Absolutely. I've taught this stitch to absolute beginners. I mean, beginners who maybe have been crocheting a few weeks, um, crocheters who understood, the chain, the single crochet, the double crochet. You really all you need is the single crochet and the chain. If you understand those, um, it may be a little fidgety because you're dealing with another device. And if you are going to invest in anything, I highly recommend this set. It comes in a little case from Amazon. And this is what I'm recommending that people have for my class in Pittsburgh. These are 25 millimeter or size 50. Again, they're on Amazon. They're like little over $13. It's circular knitting needles. They have the cord attached. So what'll happen as you're making the loops on here and then sliding them off, they go onto this wire, which and they may not look great when they go onto the wire. But I tell people, don't worry about that, because when you slide them back onto the needle to get them in shape before you crochet them off, it's all good. So I highly recommend, if you're going to buy anything, instead of buying a pair of those big plastic of the same size, these are actually just a little better size for my hand. um, and I've used these to make both this top and the shawl behind me. I will say though, you want to be careful of these. Don't assume that they can hold unlimited amounts of weight, because they can't. So you just have to be gentle with the connectors. And I would say that with any pair of circular knitting needles. But I do have a link for these in the video description if you're interested. I think these are the way to go. And let me just show you the ones from Amazon. They have a set of stitch markers that I've already put into my stash so that I'm using them. And they also have uh, a packet of yarn needles, which I don't know about you, but I go through these a lot. I put them in every basket I own and in my needle pack and everything. You can't have too many needles, because whenever you need it, that's when you can't find it. If am I right? Am I right? It's like stitch markers, scissors, a pen, and yarn needles. When you need one is when it's hard to find one. So I keep all that stuff just everywhere. I just keep it out so I don't have to jump up and walk into another room. I have it nearby. Um, okay, and people keep asking. I forgot to write this one down. People keep asking about this. This is a new project. It's coming towards the end of August. This is a rug. This is a wagon wheel rug. And I did use, this is not the same yarn, but I did use a paint box super chunky yarn. I don't have any to show you here. I used what I had, but it's a paint box, but super chunky. I used 11, believe it or not, on this rug. And this features a puff stitch and low front ridge and the 4-post cable. and that's it. And then adding uh, double crochets in between the cables as you go around, adding increases, and that's what gives it the shape. Feels nice, nice and heavy feel. This is 36 inches in diameter, and I'm calling this my wagon wheel rug. Simple name. So thanks for asking about that. Sorry, Hannah, I I kept putting that one off. So yeah, it's not a Christmas tree skirt, but if you wanted to, I mean, well, I guess you, no, it's not a Christmas tree skirt. That's not why. I'm trying to figure if you could design. I actually have two Christmas tree skirts already designed on my channel, and one actually does use the braided cable, so it's similar. So thanks for asking that. Um, Okay, and Phil says, what qualifies one to be classified as an advanced beginner versus intermediate or an expert crocheter? That is a good question, Phil. And I think depending on who you ask, you're going to get different answers. Because I get people regularly saying, I've been crocheting for 50 years, therefore I'm an advanced crocheter. And I'm like, well, not really. I mean, um, if you've only done you know, granny squares for 50 years and nothing else, and you're not used to reading patterns, I wouldn't say expert. I'm hesitant to call myself expert, but I guess technically I am. Um, I'm just not comfortable with some of those kinds of terms, but I'll go ahead and answer my understanding. Okay, an absolute beginner is someone who's never crocheted before. A beginner would be someone who is learning and maybe knows the chain. Everybody, you need to learn the chain before you go anywhere. The chain, maybe single crochet, double crochet. Um, a confident beginner, I like to use that term for someone who can crochet and each stitch across. In other words, when they make their scarf that's supposed to be straight, their scarf doesn't get wider or narrower without them having a clue. So they know how to crochet one stitch per stitch all the way across without skipping or double dipping. They know how to get even stitching across. I would say a confident beginner also has a good hand yarn hold, and they're starting to, have even tension. Um, and I think once you get that down, there's nothing you can't learn. So that's why I oftentimes will say, even though this is an intermediate design, um, I recommend it for confident beginners, because confident beginners meaning someone who knows the basic stitches or has done them at least once, and they're not afraid of making mistakes, and they're not afraid of trying something new. An intermediate would be someone who's familiar with all that I've said. They don't have trouble with their scarves getting wider or too narrower as they crochet them. They can generally understand basic pattern instructions. Um, and for an intermediate, I would add in there, they know how to do front post and back post, which really is easy. And if you're a confident beginner and you want to learn that, you can learn it like this. I could teach it to you right now. I mean, it's so easy. But it's knowing what to do differently. That's the key. An intermediate might have some cable experience, but not necessarily. Um, and let's say an intermediate crocheter understands gauge. They may have done some swatching to get gauge. A lot of people don't like to do that, but it's time well spent. Um, and maybe an intermediate is just not afraid of, some newer stitches, and has done, other varieties of stitches. Um, an expert would be just somebody who I think is just comfortable doing a lot of different crochet stitches across the board, who can do them within gauge. Um, yeah. So it's just kind of like taking it up a notch. Now, depending on who you ask, though, you can get very different answers. So, I'm not sure that was really the best answer ever. It was not a researched answer. That was just off the top of my head. But, if you want to go to Craft Yarn Council, they may actually have some, written down, detailed, instructions that are descriptions that might, be in addition to that. But yeah, yeah, and let's just say I know that there are a lot of people who have done my patterns who consider themselves beginners. I know during the pandemic, people went from absolute beginning to doing my crochet afghans with the Celtic cabling and sent me the pictures, and I know they nailed it. So I would never not feel constrained to feel yourself limited to a category or someone else's definition of these categories of levels. If you see something you want to try, by golly, try it. Um, and it's not like you have to be a it's not like, it's not like the military ranking and stuff like that, or, places where you have to be a beginner for this many years and then this many years at this level, then this many. No, 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 no. It really is. It depends on how much time you invest in it, how serious you are about learning something new, and how much you like the craft. And I have tried, patterns in knitting, for example, that were, uh, I would call swimming with sharks, or swimming in the deep end of the swimming pool, for me personally with my skill level. But I've got one of those in my bag right now. But I didn't hold myself back. It's like, well, I like this sweater. I want to give it a try. So, and through the process, I actually end up gaining skills that I didn't have before. Um, so yeah, so those can be helpful, those categories, but never feel yourself constrained by them, or because you don't do one thing over here, feel like you're not an intermediate or not an expert. I mean, most of y'all probably could be considered expert, or at bare minimum intermediate, just with some of the cabling that you follow on my channel. And that said, there's nothing magical about it. It's just another skill, and you learn it and go with it. Thank you, Hannah. Okay, thank you, Phil. Thank you. I hope that makes kind of some sense. Where am I? Oh, let me go ahead and tell you, Hannah, thank you for sending me those questions. Let me go ahead and tell you about the Prince Edward Island Fiber Festival, PEI, in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, coming up October 23rd through the 25th. I mean, it's going to be here before you know it. Pittsburgh is less than 3 weeks. In 2.5 weeks, I'll be on my way to Pittsburgh. It's unbelievable. And then 2 months after that is October. Where is time going? Anyway, the classes I'll be teaching there, I'll go over this real quickly. Introduction to crocheting post cables, crocheting beautiful trims and borders, introduction to reading crochet patterns and stitch diagrams. Again, remember my guarantee with that one. You'll be able to be more comfortable with reading crochet patterns after this class than you are reading your text messages from people who send you all those acronyms. I promise you. I can't even understand half of them. Not the crochet, but the text messaging. I'm old school. I like words. Anyway, multiple ways to crochet ribbing and 3 ways to crochet braided cables. So please come with me to Prince Edward Island. Going to be driving up in the best time of the year in the fall. Going to see all those beautiful trees through New England, I hope, through New York, New England, on into Maine and up across the border. Don't forget to bring your passport. If you're coming from the US, you're going to need it. Okay. Uh yeah, I think I'm yeah. Okay, let me get back to the chat, which I've sorely neglected. I'm so sorry. And Felicia, good afternoon to you, my dear. And Erica from Lebanon, Connecticut. Wow. Well, welcome to our chat, Erica. And All right. And Jesus Joy 7 says, "Good morning, Bonnie, Hannah, and everyone in the chat. I'm late. I pray you all are doing well and living to the fullest." We're trying. We are trying. It's been a tough week. Just slogging along, but we are doing it in faith, one step at a time. Yes, ma'am. And Trish says, I have at least one of the original albums. I'm talking again about the group Chicago. Yes, vinyl. They were my older brothers. Oh, I just love Chicago's music. I have to tell you, the first time I remember playing Chicago's music in band was in like eighth grade. My band director had a version for our band to play 25 or 6 to 4. Of course, it didn't sound exactly like Chicago, but it was close, and that was I just remember all the kids in my class, we were like, "Oh, let's play that one again," and that was so much fun. Of course, it would take me decades to understand what 25 or 6 to 4 meant. I understand it now. It's sometimes we're a little bit slow. Um, and let's see. We have Donna from Alaska. How did I miss that? I don't know what's with this feed. Um, Great to have another Alaskan in the chat. And Lucille says, "Thank you. She love you, Bonnie Bay. Just had my knee replaced. Ugh, I'm 83. I need a tutorial to crochet a sweater extra large, Ottawa, Canada. I pray for you. Your thank you. Oh, that is so kind of you, Lucille. Um, yeah, Lucille, check my video on here. There's playlist. Go to playlist and you can look at sweaters and see which one you're looking for. And you can always contact me, bonniebay@me.com. I so hope your knee, I'm going to add you to my prayer list if that's okay. So it was a knee replaced. Okay, I'm going to add you to my prayer list. I try to go through it's a long list now. I try to go through it at least once a week, but I will pray for you, my friend. Um, and yeah, Michelle says one of my favorite bands talking about Chicago. And Trish says, I love Chicago, and I was a music major at the University of Tennessee, played trumpet back in the 70s. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. It's definitely trumpet. I mean, I played saxophone a little bit in high school in a jazz band. But there's just nothing about that blend that they get with the trombone, the tenor sax, and the trumpet. They are just so good. It's amazing. These guys are like in their 70s, and they are just, playing all the time. They they just basically haven't stopped touring in 55 years, or probably going on to 60 years now. And Wanda says, "Wonderful people were born in January." To Hannah, yep, they were. And Hannah was born. Well, the day that Hannah was born, I remember we had a really bad ice storm at the hospital, and my kids couldn't come meet her until the next day because of that. Yeah. Uh, okay. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of these questions. Let's see. Just want to make sure I say hey to everybody. Oh, thank you, Carol. She says, the more I see your broomstick shirt, the more I'd love to learn. Thank you. Oh, and I promise you, it's not as hard as it looks, which is why I like it, because it looks very intriguing. It's a very old stitch. I mean, this is very, very old stitch. Um, oh, thank you, Jet One, and you're so kind. And Jacqueline, so good to have you here with us too. And Brad's mom says, I used your Amazon link to buy the large circular needles for broomstick lace. I also bought a few other things so you get more credit. Well, thank you, Linda. I so appreciate that. Yeah, every little bit helps. Yeah, I'm currently buying my husband a lawnmower, so um, it's helping a lot. You're helping us to keep our yard, you know, reasonable, and yeah, hoping to pay that thing off soon. Ours, after 22 years, just gave up the ghost. Uh, All right. And Jet One and says, I'd buy a set of tools off you if you're willing to sell me one. We'll see what we can work out. It's little things that you'd have around the house, Jet One in. I'll see what I can do. Um, and she says my hubby has a lot of jewelry making skills, so I think he could help me. Yeah, yeah, that could be good. Jet One is okay. Back to looking at flights just in case I can catch a deal and get to Pittsburgh. Yeah. Um, it's funny what my kids do, Jet One, and if you don't mind, I don't know how far away you are, but whenever my kids fly like down to Georgia to Atlanta, which is it's a long way to drive. They're about 3.5 hours away from me. So they'll drive to my house 3.5 hours and then catch a flight out of the DC, Washington, DC area because we have three major airports and we have Southwest and lots of really discounted prices, from a hub to a hub. And I know that's probably the problem you're finding because Pittsburgh is not a hub in a major way like Atlanta or DC would be. But yeah, if you have friends in DC, you wanna, catch one from here, that could be an idea. But again, you still have that drive, which is mildly inconvenient. All right. If I missed anybody's comment, I'm really, really sorry. I'm gonna try to cover as much as I can. And thank you, Jacqueline, for your comment on the shawl. And let's see. Da, da, da. Okay, good, 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 good. Got that one answered. Thank you, Jet One. And she says, got that added to my cart. Thank you. And my pleasure, Carol, for the broomstick support. This is such a beauty. And I haven't even tapped into what we're going to talk about in the class. I'm going to be doing some other variations of the stitch in the class, learning it both you're going to be doing swatches, but going to be doing it in rows as well as in rounds. And we're going to be monkeying with, how we can variations that you can take on this stitch as well. And Phil says, I want to make that wagon wheel. It good, good. Again, end of August, this will be live. And Jane, good to have you with us. Says, hope everyone is well. What have I missed? Whew. Um, I am catching up at this point. Thank you, Carol. I'm glad that was helpful. Um, thank you, Phil. Glad that worked. All right, and we have Yvonne says, I think I would say I'm an advanced beginner. I've been crocheting for 30 years, self-taught, but there is so much I learn every day. Getting back to that question too, there there really is no end to how many stitches you can learn, and people are making them up a lot. I've been guilty of that as well, with different techniques with cabling. But don't feel like you have to know everything in the stitch dictionary to be considered an intermediate or an advanced crocheter, because that's just not true. Don't feel like you have to know everything because it's like it's like taking a dictionary. We used to have books of dictionaries. Those of you remember books, it's like, you know, you can be extremely proficient at English without knowing all the words in a dictionary. So just if that helps too, that you don't feel like you have to know everything. And you know, yeah, clearly, Phil asked me about this stitch, and it was like, no, I have not heard of that stitch before. Okay, well, I'm gonna go find out what it is and how it's made. But most stitches are formed using uh, the very foundational stitches in crochet: single crochet, chain, double crochet, half double, treble stitch. Everything or treble treble or whatever, but that's just making taller stitches. Everything is based on that. Everything in crochet, for the most part. So if you know the foundations and are a confident beginner, you can go anywhere. You're not limited at that point. So that could be a whole hour just talking about that. Well, Sue, I'm so glad you could join us from the UK. Um, Oh, I'm jealous, Diane. She said, saw Chicago live in concert about 10 years ago. Fabulous. I really want to take my husband to a concert. There's nothing near us this year because I know the longer I wait, the chances of it happening are nil because these guys are not going to live forever. Um, I really would love to do that. Okay. And I really like the people that are with the group now too. I know they've changed up people, but I really would love to see the current group in action. All right. Oh, Felicia says she's a January baby too. Yeah. Uh and Hannah's got a conversation about Ravensburger puzzles with Phil. Cool. It says I have a Pixar movies one in my room, so I was able to check the name. Yeah, very nice. Uh And M says, Bonnie, can you design a top such as the one you were wearing with a regular crochet hook? Maybe I should have been more clear. I did use the circular knitting needles, but that's just to put the loops on for crocheting part, which most of it, that's just putting the loops on that you use a knitting. You don't do any knitting with this. But yeah, I used regular crochet hook for you know, for crocheting the stitch. It's definitely just a, regular crochet hook size H. Um, and it's a no frills, no thrills version too of a crochet hook. I don't have those $100 ones. I use the well, anyway, very basic inline Susan Bates or whatever I can get that's an inline hook. All right. I'm not sure I'm gonna have time for that one, that question, Hannah. Uh, yeah. Well, if I missed your comment, okay, good. Jet one in. Please email me. If I missed your comment, I'm sorry. It was not intentional. And Virginia, I'm glad you're here. And Mary says, I got back to needlecrafts at 72, learning so much. Yeah, isn't it great, Mary? Just with the internet and YouTube, you can learn so much that before you'd have to buy a book or take a class in person. So yeah, um, Kelly had a question about crochet pattern reading. I'm not going to really have time to get into that right now because that's a whole nother kettle of fish. Um, thank you, Jesus Joy, wishing Hannah a belated happy birthday. How kind. Or kind of like a half birthday. And Kendall Price, you're welcome. Thanks for joining in. And well, let me go ahead. I need to let Hannah go and I need to let the rest of you all be released. But I wanted to read um, an encouraging word before you go. Been reading lately in the book of Romans, which is one of the epistles written by Apostle Paul. And I'm just going to read it. This is from Romans 4, verses 7 and 8. And again, I do this to encourage people, not to you know, bring about any bad feelings or anything like that. Just in a world of where we're drinking from a fire hose with information and not sure what's real and what's not, I always like to go back to something that is real and true, and has been for millenniums. And so anyway, I was just really encouraged by this, being a sinner myself, saved by grace. It says, Blessed are those whose lawless deeds are forgiven and whose sins are covered. Blessed is the man against whom the Lord will not count his sin. And I would consider myself in that lot. So thankful, so very thankful. And on that note, I just want to wish you all a wonderful week and hope to see you next week. God bless. Bye bye.